DMT users describe a strong and profound psychedelic experience, but there is a secret to making the most of each shot. You've probably heard about the secrets and enchantment of DMT if you found this video. The spirit molecule is one of the most exciting psychedelics, with experiences ranging from exploring other worlds to meeting aliens and experiencing different lives. However, one question remains: how can you truly smoke DMT? This video is strictly for educational and harm reduction reasons. The use of illegal drugs is not encouraged by this channel. N,N-dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, is a powerful hallucinogenic chemical found in a variety of plants and animals, including bark, leaves, and roots. DMT is often absorbed through smoking, as opposed to ayahuasca, which involves the preparation of many plants. A few people manufacture DMT at home by boiling the roots of plants, like Mimosa hostilis, in a solvent. To achieve a higher concentration, they sift the cooked plant material and evaporate the solvent. Other DMT-containing plants, such as acacia species and Phalaris arundinaceae, are also used on occasion. The extract comes in a variety of forms, including white or yellow, crystalline powder that can be smoked using a pipe or vaporizer. It is also possible, though less usual, to absorb it orally by making a ayahuasca drink that combines DMT with inmewi, like Syrian rue, which activates the DMT when consumed. DMT's effects are brief, lasting only about 10-15 minutes, yet the experience can be strong and profound. There is an abrupt shift to a different state of consciousness during a trip, and there may be vivid visual and audio hallucinations. In addition, the individual may experience ego dissolution and time distortion. Many people have reported being transported to a different dimension after eating DMT. They've also talked of communicating with entities in that domain. DMT's effects are brief, lasting only about 10-15 minutes. However, others have described feeling as if they had been through a lifetime of experiences for several hours. This video is about DMT, N,N-dimethyltryptamine, not 5-MeO-DMT. 5-methoxydimethyltryptamine, sometimes known as the toad or toad medicine. Although the two chemicals are identical in terms of their names, there are a few notable variances. DMT does not have a methoxy group at the 5th position of its indole ring, but 5-MeO-DMT does. Both drugs have an effect on serotonin receptors in the brain. 5-MeO-DMT, like DMT, occurs naturally in a variety of plant and animal species. The venom of the Colorado River toad is the most well-known source of 5-MeO-DMT, hence the names the toad or toad medicine. People are still known to extract this venom for shamanic and spiritual ceremonies. The potency of 5-MeO-DMT is known to be significantly higher than that of DMT. While 5 to 10 megajoule of DMT is considered a low dose, 5 to 10 mg of 5-MeO-DMT is considered a powerful dose with potent effects. While both DMT and 5-MeO-DMT experiences are completely subjective, studies show that 5-MeO-DMT is more likely to produce a sense of oneness in which the psychedelic explorer sees themselves as part of a larger spiritual whole, as opposed to DMT, which produces geometric patterns and sentient entities. A 5-MeO-DMT trip is known to be shorter in duration than a DMT trip. Most 5-MeO-DMT experiences are known to last between 10-15 minutes, while DMT experiences last between 10-20 minutes. Never, ever smoke DMT alone. Always hire a trip sitter or an experienced psychedelic facilitator to help you establish space and, if necessary, guide you through your DMT trip. Experienced facilitators can also assist you in making sense of your trip, which is especially important if you are doing it for therapeutic purposes. Always put your DMT to the test. To test a psychedelic for adulterants, select an appropriate testing kit. DanceSafe.org is a respectable organization that provides a variety of testing kits made specifically for various sorts of drugs. Pay close attention to your set and settings. Following this approach will ensure a nice travel and eliminate the danger of a bad trip. To avoid feeling tired or having nausea, try to fast a day before your psychedelic experience, or avoid eating greasy or fried meals. Your diet before, during, and after your vacation can have a significant impact on the overall quality of your experience. Inhale your DMT slowly and deeply, then exhale the DMT smoke for at least 20 seconds. DMT should not be burned. Instead, it should be vaporized by holding the lighter away from the powder crystals. To measure your dose, use a precise scale. If you just wing it, you can wind up taking more than you're prepared for, especially if you're a newbie. Begin with a modest dose and gradually increase it. This is especially true for inexperienced psychonauts. Before you start smoking DMT, ask yourself why you want to do so. What is the goal of your adventure? Your mental state as you enter the DMT realm is critical to the quality of your experience. If you go in scared and paranoid, odds are you won't have a nice time. We strongly advise you to consider whether you are prepared for this experience. If you can, meditate and perhaps journal. Learn everything you can about the substance. Remember that it is fine not to be prepared. If you've never tried a psychedelic before, we recommend starting with LSD or psilocybin, as DMT is sometimes described as a psilocybin trip, amplified by 1000. The goal is to learn to surrender to the psychedelic's abilities. If you do not let go, you will most likely have a negative experience. Again, there is no need to rush into trying DMT before dabbling in God's cuisine. Be sure you're in the appropriate frame of mind. While DMT is generally regarded safe, it is one of the most potent psychedelics known to man. If you have a significant mental health problem, such as schizophrenia, do not attempt it. Even a small quantity can cause your awareness to be ripped from your body, which can be a painful experience for some people. This will be the most difficult phase for some. DMT is a very prohibited substance in most of the Western world, so much so that the legal risk may be your largest risk in smoking it. Obviously, Spotlight cannot assist you in locating your DMT, but do your best to obtain it from a reliable source, because DMT is smoked in the form of a white crystal or powder, though it can also be tan or beige. An unscrupulous dealer could mix in other addictive chemicals. Again, make certain that your source is reliable. If you are unsure about the quality of your DMT, you should purchase a test kit to be safe. There are two kinds of testing. The first will determine whether or not what you have is DMT, and the second will determine whether or not the supply has been tainted with fentanyl. While the test liquid can be pricey at roughly $50 for what amounts to a lifetime supply, fentanyl strips are considerably cheaper at a few dollars per strip. We strongly advise you to make this investment. If nothing else, it will help you relax before smoking the DMT. Once you've gotten yourself in the correct frame of mind and obtained and tested your DMT, it's time to select a responsible and trustworthy trip sitter. This should be someone who knows what you're doing is safe and who won't freak out if you have a poor experience. It would be ideal if this person had prior DMT or psychedelic experience, but this is not always attainable. The important thing is that they are a calming presence who can hold your hand or hug you if necessary and wait out the experience with you. Again, make certain that this person is someone you can trust. It's time to smoke. Once you've gotten yourself in the correct frame of mind, obtained and tested your DMT, and selected a trip sitter, make sure you have a comfortable and familiar environment. Play some soothing music and keep a blanket or something to snuggle with nearby. Even though the experience only lasts around 15 minutes, it is critical that your environment is conducive to a nice trip. A glass freebase pipe, often known as a crack pipe, is the greatest smoking equipment to use. Insert a screen inside the pipe, then equally distribute the DMT crystals across the screen. It is critical to note here that you are not attempting to burn the DMT, but rather to liquefy and evaporate it. As a result, instead of touching the flame to the pipe, bring it quite close and allow the heat from the flame do the work. You may need to experiment with the torch's distance to ensure that it is close enough to melt the crystals, but not so close that it burns them. To achieve a uniform melt, gently rotate the pipe back and forth. For improved control, use a butane flame lighter. You can also use a cannabis pipe or bong and perform the sandwich approach. This entails sandwiching the DMT between two thick layers of a burnable herb, such as mint, but cannabis is also used by others. Light the top of the herb on fire and breath slowly. The idea is that when the plant burns, the DMT beneath it is heated enough to evaporate without the herb itself burning. The melted DMT is then vaporized before draining through the plant layer beneath it. When it comes to dose levels, we shall follow MAPS rules. 5 to 10 minamis produces a nice buzz throughout the body with little or no visual effects. Visualizations, patterns, and simple forms will be elicited with doses of 15 to 25 mgs. The patterns will disintegrate into stronger and more clear images at doses ranging from 25 to 35 mg. 35-60 mg will provide full-fledged effects and may transport your awareness to another universe. When smoking, it might be difficult to judge how many milligrams you are vaporizing and inhaling. Therefore, a basic rule of thumb is useful. Taking one hit from your pipe or water bong will cause you to see nice colors and feel good in your body. 2 hits will cause the patterns to disintegrate and a strong hallucination to occur. Here, it is usual for people to perceive entering a tunnel or doorway, or possibly experiencing a sensation of free-falling. The full effects, sometimes known as a breakthrough experience, should be elicited by the 3rd hit. People have been said to break through the tunnel and inhabit a completely separate universe, populated by autonomous beings. Take several deep breaths to slow your breathing before taking your first hit. Then, inhale carefully. Hold the smoke in for at least 5 seconds. Then exhale. Take the next hit right away. Each hit will have an almost immediate effect on you. It may be tough to continue after your second hit, so make sure you discuss with your trip sitter whether you wish to go for the complete breakthrough experience ahead of time. Taking the 3rd hit right after the second can be difficult because you will be experiencing powerful hallucinations despite having only begun smoking for less than 10 seconds. If this is your first time or any other occasion, there's no shame in stopping before you have a full breakthrough experience. It's also worth noting that you can start with a low dose and gradually increase to a higher dose the same day, as any tolerance you develop evaporates within half an hour. If you smoke, make sure to immediately put the pipe down or you will drop it. Your trip sitter may be required to assist you with this. The job begins once your experience is complete. During your travels in the DMT cosmos, you may encounter crucial life lessons that are difficult to understand and apply to your life. This is known as integration. Try to write down your ideas following the encounter, however doing so may be nearly difficult. Discuss the event with your trip sitter and think on what happened over the next few months. It is not uncommon for a DMT instruction to take months or even years to sink in. You should ideally be able to discuss it with a competent psychotherapist, but for most people, this may be impossible. Fortunately, there is a service called the Fireside Project, which you may contact by phone or through their app. Talking with Fireside volunteers might help you assimilate your experience. You or your trip sitter can also call them during the adventure for assistance. Keep in mind that you are not taking DMT to get high. This is an incredibly potent psychedelic with long-lasting consequences on your life. It is critical that you incorporate the experience into your daily life.
Like and subscribe.